Hello everyone, welcome to the Third Man Cricket Show. A very good afternoon. I have Omkar with me here, and yet it's another double header day, and we have been experiencing this quite a lot in this edition of the World T20. That there are a lot of double headers. Tomorrow is another such day. We have another double header. So Omkar, I would like to know your opinions on how is your excitement for today, because Australia and South Africa are not playing against each other today, but both of them have games today, and they are important games. That's what makes this tournament interesting, because it decides who qualifies for the semi-finals. So how are you feeling?
Well, actually, the excitement for today, yeah, tomorrow's game is more than today's matches because because of yesterday's win, we have a chance to qualify. And it might look difficult, but there's a slight possibility which we have uh, against Afghanistan. Afghanistan winning the match against New Zealand, a slight possibility. And one saying, "Let's go Aussies." Sanmay is just talking about last match for champion TJ Bravo in the West Indies colors. Pollard also mentioned that they have played with lot of senior members in this T20 World Cup. Like if you notice from 2012 when they won for the first time, even in 2016 they had a lot of senior players, and it's time for them to look up to the youngsters. Someone like Shea Hope who can open the batting with Evan Lewis like he does in the ODIs. He might not be the attacking player, but sometimes an anchor role he can play, and there needs to be someone who can play the anchor role for these West Indies team, because all of them are aggressive hitters. Sometimes in the lower order or the middle order, Pollard does it for them, but Russell and Pooran are just hitters. They just swing their bat. So I feel like Shea Hope should come in place of Lendl Simmons, and for the next T20 World Cup which we have in 2022. Yeah, that is in Australia, so it will be a really good advantage for them to bring in Shea Hope as the opening batsman and even as a wicket keeper.
Exactly, and here we are joined by Ronak. So I would like to know your opinions as well, Ronak, because it's another double header day, and Australia and South Africa के लिए this is a completely important game, because it decides who qualifies for the semi-finals. It's yet another day when West Indies are playing. I am on stream, and luckily or unluckily तू भी आ गया है stream पे schedule के मुताबिक on a West Indies match day. But yeah, how important is this day for Australia and South Africa?
बिफोर दैट स्केड्यूल बनाया किसने था?
मेरे को लग रहा है रौनक ने शेड्यूल बनाया था.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that question.
Anyways, Australia or South Africa के लिए it is very important today, and it is almost quarter final back to back. Maybe 3 quarter finals. First we have Australia, then we have South Africa, and then tomorrow we have New Zealand and Afghanistan. So it is back to back 3 quarter finals for us, and it can be treated as like virtual knockouts where we had earlier quarter final होते थे, फिर semi finals होते थे, फिर finals होते थे. So it is almost like that. और इंडिया पता नहीं क्या करेगा. इंडिया का बस कल प्रे करो भाई 130 करोड़. But coming back to Australia and South Africa, तो Australia have the best chance I feel, because उन्होंने last match में जो करामात किया है भाई, वो that have put them on pedestal against maybe South Africa. South Africa will have to win as well as they have to take care of the net run rate as well. So that will be a bigger factor for them. And Australia, just if they win, they will qualify. So it is, I think, pretty simpler for Australia, and South Africa has an uphill task of maybe facing England as well. So that keeping that in mind, it is pretty difficult and down for them. Australia के लिए it is pretty easy because West Indies are low on confidence. Maybe that could be a deciding factor, because they have now nothing to lose. They are just enjoying the game. Their champion retired in the last match, so it is all set up nicely for them to maybe give a final blast in this World Cup. So that those factors can come in. So maybe Australia will get a scare, but I feel that Australia has the best chances of now.
Exactly, but Sanmay, I think, thinks otherwise. That he's saying advantage will be with South Africa as they have an equation in front of them. So that is also true. But अगर equation कुछ ज़्यादा ही गड़बड़ हुआ, then I think I do
ये
agree with
मुंबई इंडियन
Ronak.
फैंस है कि ज्यादा किसको पता है, मुंबई इंडियन फैंस ज्यादा किसको पता है, इक्वेशन क्या है, टॉस में मैच हार सकते हैं, टॉस में मैच हार सकते हैं लास्ट मैच।
दैट इज ऑल्सो ट्रू, क्योंकि हमने भी यार वर्ल्ड कप में टॉस की वजह से 2 मैच हारे, ऐसे हम लोग बोल सकते हैं. टॉस हैज बीन अ फैक्टर, नॉट दैट टॉस की वजह से कंप्लीटली. बट ओमकार, डू यू अग्री विद सन्मय, और डू यू फील ऑस्ट्रेलिया हैव अ चांस राइट अवे?
No, actually, Australia has a chance right away because South Africa is facing England, and England have qualified. They might even test their bench strength. Like I feel like the changes we might see Sam Billings coming in place of, I guess, maybe Malan or Johnny Bairstow, because he's also wicket keeper. So, and Timal Mills is injured, so by default David Willey has to come in, the left-hander which they have, and he also bats well, so that Chris Brooks and David Willey at the lower order can give them runs. It will be slight difficult for South Africa because even the matches at Sharjah, they have two quality spinners in Keshav Maharaj and Tabrez Shamsi, but England has Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid as well. So it's kind of a balance things between both the teams, and a low scoring thriller will be great to watch Saturday evening. But I feel England has an upper hand, and why will not? They will try to just try to make their campaign a winning list. Like they will just try to go winning each and every match because they have the team. Despite not having Archer, Stokes, and Sam Curran, they have the potential. Like Chris Stokes as a death bowler, he has bowled really well. Even Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali are stepping up for them. So I slightly disagree with Sanmay that advantage will be with more with Australia.
Exactly, and you mentioned a very
One
interesting
point,
point that
one point,
yes,
one point,
yes,
Anup.
Ronak.
Uh,
Huh.
I feel that Australia do have an advantage, but it will Australia and West Indies are both teams like they are high on balance. Both team have perfect balance in their squad, but West Indies are not performing. That is a story for another day. But Australia and West Indies, I think, are the most balanced side in the whole World Cup scenario. And whereas England and South Africa is concerned, though England have won all the matches on their bowling perspective, still I feel that they lack that death bowler in their squad, which might come back to haunt them in a knockout match like this. They don't have a knockout match, but it might come down to haunt someday, and maybe South Africa can exploit that because their death bowlers Andrik Noki and Rabada can exploit that. And if they get out maybe Butler early and 1 or 2 wickets, then it will be pretty darn for them. So I feel that in that sense also Australia and West Indies, Australia do have a better chances, but South Africa we cannot count them out right away.
Well, exactly, and it's a very interesting day. And Omkar mentioned a very interesting thing that England might test their bench strength. So I want to ask both of you your opinions. That personally, would you like England to test their bench strength? Because going into the semi-finals, would you say that you want to test your bench strength, or would you say that you want to just continue the winning combination and going with the momentum into the semi-finals?
Omka, you would like to take first?
Okay, so, I feel like because it's not like the bench strength is weak. Sam Billings and David Willey, they are quality players. They have played for England in their bilateral series as well, and they deserve a chance because I guess I remember the 2016 T20 World Cup final, the second last over before Braithwaite did a miracle against Ben Stokes. The second last over, David Willey bowled pretty much well. I guess he just gave 7 or 6 runs. So the equation came down to 19 runs required of the last over. So I feel like he deserves the place because what happens, Timal Mills sometimes bowl too many short balls, and the pitch we know at Sharjah is very much weird. Like it's a very tricky pitch, and sometimes what happens, and even the stadium is small. So sometimes what happens, these slow balls can be easily identified and they can be smashed out of the park. It's not like Dubai or Abu Dhabi that one side is too much bigger, around 80 or 78-meter boundary, so that it can get caught in the boundary. Maybe it's a attempt to make the batsman and hit the ball. So, but it's Sharjah, so I don't think it might happen. And I feel like David Willey being the left arm bowler, because as an Indian fan we know the importance of left arm pacers. We don't have right now. Earlier we had four, like Zahir Khan, Irfan Pathan, Ashish Nehra, and RPC. All were there in the squad. Like all used to play at one time. Like you can't imagine like playing 3 to 4 left arm pacers in your 15-man squad, and right now we have zero. So I feel like England should go with David Willey because of the batting he offers, and also left as a left arm pacer, and he can swing along with Chris Woods as well.
Exactly. That was exactly my point. But Ronak, coming to you, if you are on Morgan right now, would you say that you would want to change your winning combination, or would you go in with the same 11 and build on the winning momentum? Because South Africa are not a team that can be counted out. It's not like it's some a team that you can underestimate. So if you lose against them, and they will make you pay if you do mistakes against them. So would you go in with the winning combination, or would you test your bench strength?
I don't think I would like to test my winning combination today, because in going into the semi-finals and the knockout stages, you want a kind of momentum, as Omkar mentioned about there, and you also introduced it that way. So the momentum factor plays a very big role in this World Cup situation, because in matter of 2 or 3 games, the World Cup is decided. As we
Yeah.
saw for India's case, that 2 matches and we are already out of the tournament. So in that scenario, one match and bad momentum can hit you big, and maybe maybe an opposition will find a sniff where you are lacking. Maybe they will find that loophole कि यहाँ पे इनका थोड़ा सा weak zone है, यहाँ पे exploit कर सकते हैं. So you don't want a position to find that out in the last league match, so that they can exploit that in the knockout stages. So that will be a pretty thinking factor about that. So they will have to be very sure about what they want to try today, because if I was on Morgan, on a personal note, I would not have tried anything new. Just go to the basics. Only Timal Mills, as Omkar also mentioned, that he's injured, so that would be a replacement for obvious reasons. But otherwise, apart from them, I don't see any changes in the squad. And if they make any changes, it would be, I think, a pretty bold move from England to try that out in this situation. So I feel, in the retrospect of the whole game, South Africa will look to exploit the openers first. So for me, it is South Africa's bowling versus England's batting. If that match, हम लोग का इंडिया वर्सेस पाकिस्तान होता था ना, कि इंडिया का बैटिंग वर्सेस पाकिस्तान का बॉलिंग. So it is kind of similar for me in that, giving me that vibe, because uh, as long how much you try to count out South Africa out, but their bowling is the one of the best bowling attack in the tournament. If you consider 3-4 bowlers, you see Andik Nauke, Kagiso Rabada, Tabrez Samsi, world number one spinner. Sorry, second now. Not world one was replaced recently, but second best spinner. And then with Kesav Maharaj, who has been a proven performer for them for the past few years, maybe. So that becomes a pretty solid squad if you have 3 to 4 frontline attack who can go in and take wickets anytime in any situation of the match. So it is pretty darn how you talk about that. So, counting South Africa out, you will be foolish, I guess, because and in the second match, yeah, I agree to Sanmay's point over here that the equation will be in front of them. So they will be having an equation in mind कि मेरे को जीतना है तो कितने point से जीतना है, कितने
Yeah.
run से जीतना है. So that will, I think, to an extent, will make their job easier if the Australia versus West Indies match goes close, like a close encounter will give South Africa an
Yeah.
edge. But if Australia does in Australia again, then maybe not.
Exactly, and it all depends on like we are depending heavily on Afghanistan right now. I think the South African players will depend heavily on West Indies to take the game at least close, if not win, so that South Africa get an equation in front of them. But speaking of West Indies, already out of the World Cup, out of the race for the semi-finals, what do they do? They only have a chance to upset Australia, but the West Indies team is also going to go into a phase where their experienced players are going to retire. The likes of Gale or Bravo or Pollard, we are not going to see them a lot of times more. So, how
पोलार्ड
do they
रिटायर,
approach
वो तो भी 30
No,
साल
no,
का
no.
ही है.
Pollard is not retiring. He said he has no
retiring? नहीं
intention
बोला
to
मैंने.
retire.
Retiring नहीं बोला मैंने.
Okay,
In
I
some
heard
years
I
बोला
heard it
मैंने.
wrong maybe.
In some
Okay,
years
okay,
बोला
yeah,
मैंने. Bravo is surely retiring. It's
okay,
his last game. But Gale and Pollard, we don't
yeah,
have an official word. So in some years,
yeah,
experienced players.
yeah.
So West Indies will go into that phase again where youngsters will have to take the team ahead. So Omkar,
Yes.
how do they approach this situation? How do they approach? Because they are out of the World Cup anyway. So what would you do now? Would you make them sit, test your bench strength, or how would you do it?
I guess they can test their bench strength because they have Andre Fletcher as an opener
Hmm.
to play, and Landon Simmons is not in that form, and I guess he has उसका भी थोड़ा age हो गया है. Even Gale is around 42, I guess. I'm not sure about his age, but I guess Chris Gale should hang his boots in international cricket because if you're playing well and you hang your boots with dignity, then people just appreciate you. And you're not performing continuously, and you just keep on playing. That people say ये जगह लेके बैठा है. He should retire and give a chance to the other people as well. So I feel like it's high time for Chris Gayle to hang his boots at least in international cricket. In league matches, you can. It's in franchisee cricket. It's okay, fine. You can play as per your convenience. But in international cricket, you should hang his boots because first of all, there is Evan Lewis who is a left-handed opener, and Andre Fletcher is there who can play. And even as I earlier mentioned before, Ronak coming, that they have Shea Hope as an opener. Like he might not attack like Landon Simmons or Evan Lewis, just go attack in the power play, but he can play a proper he's a proper cricketing shot. He's a technical player, and you need some of the anchors to play. Roston Chase might come later in the middle order, but if an opener is playing an anchor role, like what we do in our Indian team, like if Rahul is hitting the ball, Rohit does it. If Rohit is hitting the ball, Rahul plays the role of an anchor. So that's how they should approach now, because the next T20 World Cup is at Australia. The conditions will be definitely different from what we have in the UAE, and the bouncy tracks will help them to play their natural game. And it's not like ऑस्ट्रेलिया में काफी बैटिंग ट्रैक्स होते हैं. लाइक there might be initial swing. All players are now used to the initial swing in the white ball cricket, but after the power play is over, it's completely batting track, and the atmosphere in Australia, definitely the bounce pace will definitely make you feel like you should go and attack. It's not going to be low scoring matches in Australia much of the, but as compared to this condition, Australia will be definitely boost for the West Indies to play the next World Cup. We might even see some changes in the squad, like Bravo retiring, even Chris Gale, and we might player we might see even Sheldon Cottrell coming, because he was not there in this World Cup, and Holder was brought as a backup, and he has done a decent job. So I feel like Holder should be given a permanent place in this playing 11, because the way he performed for Hyderabad, I guess he was the only player performing for Hyderabad as a bowler and as an all-rounder as well. So definitely West Indies should play freely tonight, and they should bring in Andre Fletcher.
Yes, and Ronak, coming to you, I would like to ask you the same question, but also a word on the IPL franchise that you support. Usme, there's a player who's announced retirement. So just a word on him. He has had a brilliant career as a bowler, as a batsman. He has had a huge impact on the West Indies side. So just a word on Bravo, and the same question that I
Well
asked on
played,
your end.
Amit. Well played, well played. I was about to rant West Indies, and you throwed me a question where I can't rant about anything. It will
Uh,
make me
even
emotional. It
even
will make me.
even I have done my homework, na.
Yeah, man, bravo! What to say? He is actually the champion that we named him. Maybe so that sort of feeling goes with him. Not as just a Chennai fan or a West Indies fan. It is just about cricket. The way West Indies play their cricket. No, I'm a huge fan of that. And today, maybe giving the perfect tribute to Bravo would be the last time they play like West Indies. Like, I mean, uh, they don't play together long enough to maybe gel together. So it will be very fascinating to see how they gel together after 4 5 losses. And it is when you are down and out, that is when you come back stronger, come back as a unit, and you show that you are one, you are united. So that maybe fighting spirit will lift up West Indies to an extent, and it might be a bad off for Australia if that happens, because if you see West Indies squad, then you see that after getting in last West Indies match I was watching, they were six or seven down, and then I saw who was batting, Pollard and Andre Russell. I mean, this is crazy, man. After six or seven down, you have Pollard and Andre Russell batting. That is crazy, out of the charts. And then you have Jason Holder and when Bravo in the ranks to come to the party. So it is absolutely bizarre that how their playing 11 is, and still they don't. They were finding difficult to score runs. So for me, it will be very fascinating if they try something ballsy and maybe send the informed players like Shimran Hetmar top down the top of the order, like maybe one down or say even to open. Maybe send Simran Hetmyer under Russell, like the players like this to just go and fire out in the first 5 6 overs and see where it goes from there. So it will be a ballsy move, I think, but West Indies should try something different. Maybe give Dwayne Bravo a chance to maybe bat in top five, top six. So that would be a pretty good factor. And Pollard, he can blast anytime, so he can come down when the situation requires. But I feel that Simran Hetmeyer and Roston Chase would have Roston Chase, Simran Hetmeyer, and maybe to an extent Andre Russell. These three players should come in top five today, and they should blast away whatever the uh, power play or whatever the situation is, and see where they can stand after that, because they have nothing to lose. And if they can replicate that, then maybe they have a big chance of posting a total which is maybe above par, around a 180 190, which we are used to seeing from West Indies. So I feel that should be their game plan today.
Exactly, and a very interesting question from Ankit, that what if Australia win by bigger margin to overtake England's net run rate? So this is something.
Tata, bye bye,
This is
khatam.
something.
ये नहीं होने वाला है.
Exactly. I mean, they'll have to win by a very, very, very big margin, and I don't think the West Indies will allow them
Australia,
to do
yeah, Australia, as
that.
we
Yeah,
mentioned, it's around their NRR is plus 1.03, and England ka it's plus 3.18.
exactly.
Difference
So
of
Ankit,
two.
yeah. So Ankit, that's surely not happening
अंकित ने
because
होमवर्क नहीं किया आज.
Ankit, Ankit ने surely homework नहीं किया. But coming to the Australian side, guys, would you like any changes in their playing 11 that they played in the last game, or would you still go in with the same 11?
Why do you want to change that squad, man, for anything? I mean, uh,
I'm asking
last
you.
दो
It's my job to ask
last
you.
लास्ट 2 मैच से तो वो लोग खेलना अच्छा चालू किए हैं, जलप जलप हुए टीम. लुक्स लाइक ऑस्ट्रेलिया प्लेइंग इन एन आईसीसी टूर्नामेंट. The way they bundled out Bangladesh, so it looks like they are back on track and they are the old Australia that we know of in ICC tournaments. बाकी bilateral में कैसा भी खेले, you can't rate according to that situation. But ICC में आके भाई ऑस्ट्रेलिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया है, उसको काउंट आउट नहीं कर सकते. तो that sort of cricket we are seeing in the last 2 matches maybe. The second last match it was against sorry, last match was against Bangladesh. आई मीन बांग्लादेश को बहुत ज्यादा हाइप कर दिया था लोगों ने कि ये पिच पे ऐसा करेगा, वो पिच पे ये पिच वैसा करेगा. और बांग्लादेश ने मतलब हर कंट्री की सेकंड बी टीम को बुला के हरा दिया अपने ग्राउंड पे, और फिर यहाँ पे सोचा कि हम लोग शेर है भाई. निकल गई सारी उनकी. बट एनीवेज ऑस्ट्रेलिया would take confidence from that and maybe carry the momentum ahead and see that if the same team can beat West Indies maybe in a similar fashion, not if that dominant, but in a similar fashion, and then carry the momentum against maybe whoever comes from maybe Pakistan. They will face most probably Pakistan if they qualify.
Yeah.
So carrying that momentum against Pakistan will be very crucial, because Pakistan, I feel, are the most the strongest side in this tournament, no doubt, no question about that. Even higher than England because of their death bowling perspectives. So I feel that coming against Pakistan, beating them in the semi-finals, I would say it would be very difficult for them. So not try to change or chop anything. Just stick to your basics, stick to your plans. If you have to try something out, maybe give the batsman who didn't have a chance to bat, maybe send him up the order so that he have that confidence going in the next stage, and he have some game time with him, because that you can do as much as practice you want, but game time is a different sort of beast. So I would like to see if they
Exactly.
can promote one or two batter up the order to see and check whether the batsmen are in flow, or say provide an impetus where seeing the match situation, not just blindly, but seeing the match situation, of course.
Exactly. And Omkar, do you have any different opinion? Because Ronak had covered the most of it. So you would also like to go Australia with the same 11?
Yeah, because they are not, like, they have to qualify. They have not even qualified. Like, if you अगर आप qualify कर जाते, then you might say let's test our bench strength, let's give chance to the players who have not got a chance, but they have to qualify. अभी तक qualify नहीं हुए, so I feel like they should not change the winning combination which they have. The bowling trio of Hazelwood, Pat Cummins and Stark, like, it's a magical trio which Australia has in their bowlers, and even Zampa, the leading spinner, and Ashton Agar as an off spinner. So it's a kind of a pretty much balanced bowling attack. But I feel like they might try. I would like to see Josh Illings in the playing 11 because he has been played as a role of a finisher in the Big Bash League, and he's also a wicket-keeper batsman. So might see Matthew Wade making way for Josh Rings, but it's very unlikely to happen. I don't think so. Finch will change the winning combination. And Ankit is here telling about today's match should have been on same timing so that South Africa won't know the equation.
भाई इंडिया
Nice.
का फैन हो क्या ऐसा बोल रहा है? इंडिया तो एक दिन पहले मैच हार सकती है, मतलब बिना खेले ही मैच हार सकती है, तो उनका
Why?
इक्वेशन और तुम क्या करोगे?
Exactly.
इंडिया का मेन मैच
True.
तो 7 तारीख को, 8 तारीख को तो बस वो ऐसे ही है,
Formality.
Yeah.
फॉर्मेलिटी.
Exactly. Exactly. But I would like to know your toss predictions because Australia versus West Indies game is in Abu Dhabi. It's an afternoon game again, so no point of view in an afternoon game. But if you are the captain of the respective sides, win the toss and do what? Most probably Australia. If you are Aaron Finch, win the toss and what would you choose to do?
I guess bowl first. It is a no-brainer in afternoon game as well because drier pitches spin much better. So in the heat, the pitches will be more dry, I guess. And in the evening time, it will cool down a little bit. So uh, I think for Australia it is a no-brainer because Adam Jampa he would like to bowl on the pitches the most he can, and maybe West Indies have an weaker zone against spin bowling. So that would be very crucial, and we have here one of the Afghans of 130 crore plus population. So welcome.
Yes, Sanchitur Rahman.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes,
well,
So
he's a
that is
diehard Afghanistan supporter, by the way.
every Indian, not just Indian, who likes to watch Indian cricket, maybe 130 plus crore population. There is an interesting there was an interesting comment on Twitter. I saw somewhere. Someone wrote कि इतना जल्दी population किसी country का नहीं बढ़ा होगा. ये एक वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड है कि एक दिन में किसी कंट्री का पॉपुलेशन 130 करोड़ हो गया अचानक से.
That's very true. Actually, all the Indians are supporting Afghanistan tomorrow, and why not? Sanchitur Rahman rightly mentioning that the toss is crucial. So, Omkar, coming to you, if Australia win the toss, win the match or bat first?
well, it's not Dubai, so Abu Dhabi hai, so it's a bit of balance things in right here. But I feel like Finch will win the toss and bowl first. Would love to see that because Australia in the afternoon game as well against South Africa, the first match of this T20 World Cup Super 12 group, they won the toss and elected to bowl first and restricted South Africa to 114, 119. So it was a
Yeah.
crucial thing. One more point I would like to add. It's not about today's matches. It's about tomorrow's match. Like I've seen many guys changing their name to Abdullah, Jazai, Ur Rahman. So I would like to say I would like to give a message like इतना extra over excited मत हो जाओ. अगर कल result अपने favor में नहीं आया, then it might be then it you आप इतना मतलब
ए
एकदम
चल
दुखी
चल अबे
मत
चल चल, हम लोग को पे वो लिस्ट में अपन है ही नहीं. मैं और हम लोग दूसरी लिस्ट में भाई, हम लोग मान ही नहीं कि न्यूजीलैंड जीतेगा. हम लोग उस लिस्ट में क्या
Well,
अफगानिस्तान जीत ही रहा
no,
है.
no, definitely. See, everyone will support Afghanistan, but the
सपोर्ट नहीं, हम लोग को पता है वो फेवरेट्स है.
they might be favorites. वो ज्यादा प्रेशर आएगा उन पे खेलने के लिए. मैं प्रैक्टिकली सोच रहा
अरे
हूँ, but
उनको भी तो जीतना है भाई, उनको भी तो खुद के लिए
हाँ,
जीतना है, सिर्फ
हाँ
हमारे लिए तो
उनको
नहीं जीतना
जीतना है,
उनको.
उनको जीतना है, but still they might be in pressure because of the Indian fans also supporting them, but it might also boost their morale. But I feel I should एक मैसेज है ज्यादा ओवर एक्साइट मत हो जाना. अगर इधर थोड़ा सा इधर का उधर हो गया तो हम
नहीं
लोग
भाई,
वही
हम इंडियन है, हम बॉलीवुड वाले हैं. हमको एक्साइटमेंट के मतलब कम तो हम लोग को चलता ही नहीं है. जितना ज्यादा बढ़ा के दो उतना ही हमको पसंद आता है. मसाला मसाला चाहिए, मिर्ची चाहिए, सब चाहिए भाई हमको. हम तो भेल भेल भी बिना नींबू गारे नहीं खाते.
ये संचित देख, ये देख, इसका चालू हो गया अभी से.
वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
अगर ये उल्टा हुआ आई फील एक मैं शो रखूंगा सब आगे संचित को रैंड करने के लिए अगर ये उल्टा
Sanchit
हुआ
Ur Rahman.
mark this comment.
By the way, to all our viewers, Sanchit Ur Rahman is on vacation, but he's still, watching our video and commenting with his name change. So I think हम लोग को भी उसका नाम चेंज करना पड़ेगा अपने
रौनक
contacts में.
नबी, रौनक नबी.
मुझे सोचना पड़ेगा, मैंने सोचा नहीं अभी तक. But yeah, anyways, guys, coming to the second game, it's in Sharjah. So for that as well, I think toss predictions पूछने की जरूरत नहीं है. Win the toss and bowl first, just because
Yeah.
the game is in Sharjah. But I think considering that South Africa will be given some target like we had to chase in 7.1 overs yesterday. In that prospect, what do you feel will be better for South Africa against England? It will be better if they bat first, or will it be better if they bowl first? Because either way, they will be given some target.
In general, I feel that batting first is a good option when you have to, do a target kind of thing, because not sorry, I got it wrong. Bowling first should be the
Bowling
case
first.
because you have a target in mind कि इतने ओवर में चेज करना है. बैटिंग फर्स्ट में यू डोंट एक्सपेक्ट कि हम लोग उतने को उतना में आउट कर पाएंगे उनको. That becomes a very very.
Dude, what is this?
संजय एक मिनट, बस 2 मिनट,
Oh,
संचित
उसके
पागल हो गया
बाद
है.
कर लेना ये सब यार.
बोल रौनक, you were saying something.
uh, yeah, I was saying कि you when you have a target in mind, so but in Sarza you have to be very skeptical about that. But instead of that, South Africa, if given a chance, would like to go all out for it, because the thing is, even if they lose, they have nothing to lose. But if they win, they have to win by that margin.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so if you do not win
yes.
by that margin, it is almost as good as a loss. So that is anyway inconsequential when you talk about the game. So if you are trying to have a target in mind, so I would say not just because of the pitch conditions or just because UAE had shown what colors, I don't know. But anyways, you need to in this kind of situations, if you have a target in mind, you should always choose to bowl first.
exactly. And just as we are about to wrap today's show, I would like to ask you the X factors of both the games for both the teams. So, who do you think, Ronak, will be the X factor for Australia in today's game?
For Australia, it will be Adam Zampa because drier pitches against West Indies. Adam Zampa, the spinner, like last match he took a 5 for best bowling stat in the tournament as of now.
Hmm.
So going by that, Adam Zampa will be the key again because none other than him I see making that sort of impact on a drier kind of pitch. And dry pitches will turn maybe, but more than it's in the second half. So I feel Australia wins the toss and balls first, so it will be pretty easy for them. And Adam Zampa will be the key man for me.
Omkar, coming to you, X factor for West Indies in today's game.
I'll go with uh,
Go with
DJ
Devan Bravo. Go
Bravo,
with Devan Bravo. Go with Devan Bravo.
DJ Bravo
एक
for
बार.
one last time.
I'll go with as a bowler, Bravo, and as a batsman, I feel like it's high time for Pollard to give the finishing touches, like end the campaign with a win, so that they can just see the how positive and negative impacts what had happened in this World Cup, and prepare for the next World Cup, which is in Australia next year.
Exactly. And shifting to the second game, coming to Sharjah, England versus South Africa. Ronak, X factor for England for you.
For England, I'll guess it should be Butler again, but I would go with a ballsy choice, maybe Moeen Ali, because he will provide that bowling option as well, and batting down the order, he might give some firing finish. So for me, it would be Moeen Ali for the spinning options as well, and he might prove very crucial because the way Owen Morgan is using him in the power plays, he might get a few wickets of South African batters. So that will be, I think, my opinion on England's X factor. I would back Moeen Ali, not because of CSK connection. I'm just clearing it out. It is
IPL खत्म हो
purely
गया है,
based.
so doesn't matter.
Yeah. So it is purely based on the way Owen Morgan is using now. Now he realized that how to use Moeen Ali because how MS Dhoni uses him. So that gave him a direction. So I think Moeen Ali with the key will be the key for me.
Exactly. And Omkar, who have you got for South Africa?
I feel like it's high time for Quinton de Kock, the most experienced player from the 2016 T20 World Cup, to step up, because he's not being among the runs, and the way he has been dismissed very poorly So I feel it's high time for De Kock to step up for South Africa and win the match for tonight. Because as Ronak rightly said, South Africa should win the toss and bat first, so that to win. No, he said to bowl first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for chasing, you require the starts, and Quinton de Kock can give the starts to you. So I feel like it's high time for Quinton de Kock to step up tonight.
Exactly, and Ankit ने बहुत interesting comment mention किया. I would like your opinion that Australia has the best bowling combination, three frontline pacers, quality leg spinner, and part-time overs from Maxi and Stoinis. And one of the part-timers can actually bowl in the power play as well. So that is a big positive that the Australians have got. So just an opinion on this before we close out for the day.
I feel a lot of teams have this combination. It's only when it clicks. And for Australia,
Yeah.
the Pacers have not been clicking to that extent. Pacers still have to come to party, I guess, in for Australia. But combination wise, they have a good combination like many other teams. All the teams, I guess, apart from India, had 6 or 7 bowling options. So I feel that is sorted for every team. If I had to rate any team who has the best attack in the tournament as of now, according to me, on papers at least, not as performance, because no one is performing in these pitches. जिसको perform करने का सोचते हैं. So I feel that South Africa to an extent and Pakistan. Pakistan I would rate a bit higher, but they don't have that proper spinning. The proper spinner you say. They do have Imad Wasim and all that, but I don't see them as a proper wicket taking spinner. So I feel that South Africa to an extent and Pakistan, those two are the strongest bowling units in this tournament as of now.
Omkar, coming to you.
I feel like the way Ankit has put out his thoughts. I feel like they have not bowled much with Stoinis, and
Hmm.
because all the matches which I have seen, the majority of matches have been an afternoon game, so they'll just go with Glenn Maxwell, maybe two overs, if not the full 4 quota hours. Definitely, Maxwell will have an upper hand in place of Stoinis at Abu Dhabi, because Zampa, you have Aston Agar and Glenn Maxwell as a part-time spinner. So and the magical trio of Cummings, Stark, and Hazelwood. So I
Yeah.
feel like Maxwell should be bowled ahead of Stoinis, because we haven't seen Stoinis bowling much in this World Cup, and even we are talking about Maxwell and Stoinis. They even have Mitchell Marsh,
Hmm.
who can also bowl. So
Yes.
very unlikely that they'll bowl with Stoinis, but I'm sure that Maxwell will have a go-to hand in the bowling lineup tonight.
Well, exactly, and that's all we had for today's show. So it's a double header again: Australia versus West Indies at 3:30 from Abu Dhabi, and England versus South Africa at 7:30 p.m. Indian time from Sharjah. So do watch the games, and I hope we have a great day of cricket as we are having since the past few months. And आज भाई दूज है, so wishing everyone a very happy भाई दूज. May you have a very celebrated kind of a festival on this auspicious day. So सबको very happy भाई दूज की बधाइयाँ. And we'll be back tomorrow 12 p.m. as well to discuss tomorrow's games, tomorrow's all important clash as
The most
अपने लिए तो
important
भाई
as
दूज
we
कल
all.
है. अपने लिए इंडिया के लिए तो भाई दूज कल है.
हाँ, इंडिया के लिए भाई दूज कल है. आज से नाम चेंज किए फिर रहे सब. भाई दूज तो कल है
हिंदुस्तानी
बराबर.
अफगानी भाई भाई. हिंदुस्तानी अफगानी भाई भाई.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, आज तो चाहे कुछ भी बोल लो. अभी अभी 48 घंटे के लिए तो कुछ भी चलेगा. That's actually true, but yes. So thank you very much, Ronak and Omkar, for joining me here. And let's hope we have a good day of cricket and a good festival as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Thank you.